everyone, and welcome to Creating with Shannon, brought to you on behalf of the Fuquay-Varina Arts Center. Grab your watercolors because today we're going to be making a cute watercolor flower panel, just like this. So get your supplies together. You'll need a pen, a watercolor palette of whatever color you'd like to create for your flowers, and a paintbrush, and we'll get started. All right, for today's project, you're going to need some watercolor paper, a pen. I'm going to use my Micron number 5 archival ink pen, a paintbrush. This is my trusty round 6 that I use most often, some water, and some paint. So today I'm going to use an ultramarine and a sap green. You can use any blend of colors that you'd like. If you want to use pink and have a purple accent or something of that nature, that'd be so pretty. Basically any colors that you feel are right. So use whatever you'd like. As step 1, we're going to go ahead and put in our petals. So grab some water, pick up some color. I'm going to pick up some of my blue. And I'm just going to brush in my first petals, maybe in a color that you can see. There we go. There we go. And just some fluidity and some movement to the petals. Use your brush to help you get there when you're using your pressure. And then you can go back in at the bottom and you can pop in just a few little touches of the brush, and that'll give you some depth of color here at the bottom. I'm going to pick up just a little bit of water because I want to fill in here just a little bit. Don't want so many white spots in this particular flower. So I'm just going to blend that in. If you ever get too much water on your paper and you want to take some off, then simply dry off your brush as much as you can and take your brush right back to the paper and you can pick up. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some color back in since I just picked it up for you guys. Okay. Just pull it back in. I love the way watercolor works. All right, so we're going to be working in a couple of ways today. You can do some wet on wet, which is what I just did there. And you can do wet on dry, which is after you have your flowers dry, you can go back and you can add some color to them should you like to. One tip I have found as we're working towards getting our paintings dry as we're working is you can use a heat source to help you along. I have an embossing tool heat source that is made specifically for crafting that I can use to help dry my paintings thoroughly between steps. You might also try to use a hairdryer. Just be careful. Number 1, you don't want to burn your paper or the area around the paper. And number 2 is you don't want to have so much velocity or wind that's coming out of your heat source that's going to push the colors around your paper. You want to be able to make sure that where you decided that you want to put color is where it ends up. So just be careful with that. All right, so blue flowers in. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in kind of a bluish green flower. So I'm going to blend a little bit together some of my blue into my green. And I want this to be kind of whimsical and watery. So I'm just going to create some shaping here. Come in, pull it up, give it some personality. It's going to be a little bit of a different shape than what we just made on our other flower. But the cool thing about this is that we're not creating any particular flower, so you can make this look however you'd like it to. And I'm going to come back in on the bottom here and I'm just going to add in a little bit of blue and let that run. Isn't that so pretty? Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that so much I actually might add some green onto this other one. So let me pick up some green here. And when you want a nice full color, you want to have a little bit of water in your brush and more of the paint in your brush. So I'm going to pick that up and I'm just going to touch it to the bottom here and let that run. Oh, that's pretty. I love it. I love it. All right, so for our third flower, we're going to pick up a little bit of blue And I'm going to put it kind of in this area, and I'm going to outline my shape here that I want it. And then I'm going to fill it in with color. Okay, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to get some green. Then I'm going to kind of touch it in a few places on this flower. I want that color to run a little bit. I just think that's so cool. It's the neatest thing about watercolor. It's having the ability to use the water as a form of color. Let that just blend in a little bit there. Okay, now here's where we get to the hard part, because now we have to let it dry. And if you have a heat source in which you would like to try to go and dry during this time, then please feel free to, but it does need to be completely dry before we get to the next step, because we're going to lay in the details. We're going to put in the stems, and we're going to put in all of this fun ink. And in order to be able to do that, we do need to have dry flowers. So make sure that that is nice and dry, and then come back and we will get this finished. Okay, welcome back. As long as your paper is completely dry, we can go ahead and move forward. Now remember, the way to test and make sure that you're dry is please don't touch your painting with your fingers. Take a moment to lift your painting, take a look at it, and see if there's any shimmer or glimmer that's left on it that might be a wet section. Hold that up to a light source and just double check before you decide that you want to put your pen to your composition. Now, for flower number 1, we're going to draw in a stem, and this is such a loose painting, so everything that you do is right, nothing is wrong. It's the greatest type of painting. So I'm just going to start from somewhere here along the bottom. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to touch the flower. Okay, then I'm going to come in and I'm just going to put some very whimsical lines in. Just kind of add it in like they're almost little veins that are coming up from the stem. Some long, some short, all fun. Okay, and then I'm going to add some little leaves here. 3 of them on either side. If you'd like, you can put in a little detail by sliding in a couple of small lines here at the base of each of those. And I'm going to come in and mirror those on either side. Okay, now for our next flower, it kind of sits behind this one, so I want to make sure that if I'm pulling down my stem that I'm not running all the way through one of my petals here. All right, so for this one's spaced a little bit differently than the one that we started with, so I'm actually going to take the leaf on this stem and I'm going to put it on this side to fill up some of that empty space. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little dot right here at the bottom where the petal meets the stem, and I'm going to give it some nice thick swervy lines that end in a little ball, just like this. Again, there's no right or wrong. It's your flower. You get to create what it looks like, what it feels like, what it says. It's a nice thing about art. Excellent. I want one more here. Fun. Okay, and then for this guy, I'm going to put his stem down. And then I'm also going to start kind of right here at the bottom of the flower, but I'm just going to create some little loops. Like so. They give it a little bit of movement here at the bottom. I'm going to attach that to the stem. And then I need to put a little leaf on this stem. And I think for this one, I'm going to create something down here at the bottom. Perfect. Okay, now once you've gotten to this point, congratulations, you are done. You can go ahead and sign it. You can pop it in a frame and have this on your desk to bring you a little bit of happiness every time you look at it. You can add lettering to this if you'd like to. You can use some of the negative space that you've created here in order to write out a sentiment or put something like love or friends, or my favorite is an XOXO. I just love that, hugs and kisses. You can also attach this to a card front if you want to cut that out as a square and send that in the mail to someone, or put it as a birthday card or thinking of you card. There are many, many things that you can do now that you've created this panel. But basically, you've created your own special work of art, and I'm proud of you.